Heyo, welcome to my channel. Today I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on the upcoming latest installment of the Monster Hunter series, Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm a 5th fleeter, so I've been around since Monster Hunter World, and with the beta coming to a close as of recording this later tonight, and amongst all of the gameplay that we've gotten from a lot of other content creators that were lucky enough to be invited out to play it would be an understatement to say that this game is going to be good. Very, very good. Speaking on the beta alone, for that is what I've experienced personally, it's a huge shakeup in terms of the open environment, which to be honest, when I heard it at first, I was a bit skeptical, but the Monster Hunter team and Capcom have made it work, even with the betas only having one locale to fight the monsters in and explore. It's an evolution of what Monster Hunter World's environments were. The Windward Plains alone is double that of the Wildspire Waste from Monster Hunter World. In fact, Area 13 of the Windward Plains can fit almost the entirety of the Wildspire Waste in its size. Credit to Twitter user Bobin2805 for this image and also finding this out. I expect the other regions in Monster Hunter Wilds to be about the same size, if not larger than the Windward Plains, and from some of the gameplay that we've seen, that seems to be the case. The open environments are incredibly detailed, with a lot of small monsters. You can see about new endemic life and little creatures that you can see running around to just bird watch, as well as NPCs going about their daily routines, going from region to region. It's an evolution of Celiana, where you can see a lot of the NPCs going about their routines in an incredibly detailed manner. But now on the topic of weapons, and I am a guy who mainly sticks to 2 or 3 weapons. In this title, I may end up playing them all to a decent degree, even the gunner weapons, which before this game, I didn't even really consider touching due to me not really being into the playstyle all that much. But with the ability to take multiple weapons with you on a hunt, the possibilities are endless. It's 91. It's 91 combinations. What excites me the most as someone who really likes to sit down and min-max and make mixed sets is to find out what weapon combos work with what armor sets work the best with all of this, taken into consideration. That is what I'm looking forward to the most in the full game when it comes to making builds. Being able to bring a Blade Master weapon and a Gunner weapon alone is a huge step as to changing up play styles, because I'm not a guy who really uses the gunner weapons. They've never really interested me. So having the ability to swap between a Blade Master and gunner weapon has made me want to mess with them more. Among the other moves that each weapon has gotten, namely offset slashes with the Great Sword, Switch Axe, and I believe a couple others, as a new type of counter that's more of like a parry than a counter, sending the monster back flying, and you getting an opening, and the power clashes with weapons that it can guard. It creates an incredible and cinematic experience with every hunt, and incredibly hype moments. Speaking on the monsters, and this is a fair warning, I will be talking about monsters only shown in trailers published by Capcom, and I will not be talking about monsters that were leaked. Keep the leaks out of the comments, please. There are some people that just don't want to see it and want to be excited and surprised when the main game comes out. The monsters we got to fight in the latest beta were Chadacabra, Balahara, Doshiguma, Raydao, Gypsaros, and the flagship Arkveld. All of these monsters have been incredibly fun to fight. For a time, everyone thought that Raydao was the flagship of Monster Hunter Wilds due to how cool he was. He's a flying wyvern that's just a railgun that shoots lightning at you and makes otherworldly noises. He has been an incredibly fun fight, especially in the beta. Even the monsters, or even the monster that has returned in the beta, Gypsaros, was a fun fight. Not really a super popular monster, but he kind of had a glow up interacting with the new mechanics like focus mode to inflict wounds on him. Even his head becomes a weak spot whenever he glows, and it excites me to see that even the returning monsters will actually be able to keep up with the new system mechanics of Monster Hunter Wilds. Speaking of that, I am a big fan of the step up from Monster Hunter World's tenderizing mechanic into the focus mode wounds. Basically, whenever you attack a monster repetitively in the same spot over and over, or other things, you create a wound, which acts like how the tenderized part in Monster Hunter World would work, except you also gain a unique attack with the focus mode attack to either gain a resource, deal some extra damage, topple the monster, yada yada. But even after some moves that monsters perform, like Raydow's big supernova or Arkveld's supernova, Raydow's head becomes a weak spot for you to exploit, and Arkveld's chains become a weak point to exploit, which I think is a really interesting take and more organic take on the weak spots that we got from Monster Hunter World, because even if you attack these spots over and over, they become scarred over and they're no longer weak spots for you to use. Granted, they can be reopened after a while, but it gets increasingly more and more difficult, I believe, after doing so. Unless your name is Doshiguma, where he, in his enraged state, sometimes opens up all of his previous wounds, and to his own detriment, you get to wail on him. Especially if you were kind of kicking his ass before. On the topic of these monsters, the new monsters that we've gotten to see in all the trailers have been really cool. I am excited to see some of these monsters in the future, namely New Udra, which is a whole new classification of monster. He's a cephalopod, and he's in the apex of the Oil Wall Basin. And I hope we get another cephalopod or other monsters from the past that kind of fit that build, like Narcarkos, to return in the future. Though I don't know if Narcarkos would return in this title just due to the nature of having him return like that. But holy crap, we're getting so many new Leviathans with both the Apex and new creatures of the Ice region. Uthduna of the Scarlet Forest, Balahara, and in the first title update, we're getting Bazitsune. It makes me wonder if we're going to see a certain fan favorite Leviathan, but I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a lot more I could talk about as of now, but a lot of it has already been said. However, in 11-ish days after recording this, I will be making more content on Monster Hunter Wilds and sharing my first impressions of the game and more detailed thoughts on the weapons and its system mechanics. So when the time comes, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do whatever, hit the bell if you're interested. Well, see you then. Bye-bye.